So, from manufacturer to ultimate consumer, the main link in our economic system are the salesmen. Salesmen. Salesmen.
Hey everybody, I'm Clint. Welcome to the Salesman's Guide to Beer and Business. Today we have Randy Harlan, somebody I've known for quite a few years now. Randy, he is the creator of Same Old Devils. He's also Randy Harlan, a tattoo artist, and he has a real full-time job on an offshore drilling rig. So today, Randy Harlan!
Yeah!
Randy, thanks for being on the show today, man. And you drove quite a long way to be here.
Yeah. And it was kind of a late night last night, and I did a lot of yelling, so my voice is a little bit not so great right now. I'm going to try not to clear my throat in your mics, so I'm sure nobody wants to hear that. But if I sound a little funky, that's why. I got a little bit of funk from last night.
Oh, no, it's cool. You partied hardy, right?
Oh, yeah, it was a good time, man. Real good time.
Okay, so today we are drinking Bluewing by Flyway. Is that correct?
Yeah, flyway.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, this is a Little Rock, Arkansas-based beer where Randy originates from, where I met him a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Back in the gap, as they say.
Back in the gap, okay. But no, I wanted him to bring up an Arkansas local beer, and he brought me this one. So this is Bluewing. It's a berry wheat ale, and I just took one sip of it. It's got an amazing flavor.
Very blueberry, right?
It is very blueberry. So if you are a blueberry nut, you would enjoy this a whole lot. Even if you like those kind of fruity beers. I mean, this is a good one.
I normally tend to shy away from like wheat beers.
Mm-hmm.
But even it's surprisingly good.
Yeah, I mean the flavor is phenomenal, and I mean for it being a wheat beer, it's not that cloudy for the most part. I mean,
Take a smell of that too. It even smells great.
oh yeah, no blueberries, guys, blueberries. So thank you, Flyaway Beer for making this delicious drink that we're gonna indulge in today, because I'm probably going to help you finish off this 6-pack.
Yeah, I mean, we should. That's what it's here for.
So Randy, my first question is going to be, what is your favorite beer?
Ooh, man, that's tough.
You being somebody who, like me, who either drinks a lot of beer or tries a lot of different beer.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your absolute favorite?
Man, really anything Lost 40's putting out. That's another local Little Rock brewery.
Okay.
They got a little tap room, great food. If you're ever in Little Rock, check them out. But most of what they're cranking out is pretty good. It's hard to go wrong. They got a seasonal right now that cherry one. That's definitely one of my favorite beers. Probably in the top 5. But really, to be honest with you, I'm kind of just going to solid go-tos right now. A lot of Stellas, Modelo's. I like a lot of Mexican beer for some reason.
Well, and I mean, I don't know if you know this. I mean, I am a huge Dos Equis fan.
Yeah.
It's caused me a lot of money when intoxicated on Dos Equis, but
Yeah, that happens from time to time, right?
it's probably one of my go-to beers if I'm looking for something that's not a domestic.
Yeah.
If I'm going out and I'm feeling frisky, I'm definitely going to try and get me a Dos Equis, and it can be the Especial or the Amber. Either one is fine with me. So
Yeah, it's a solid beer for sure.
absolutely.
But yeah, just nothing too crazy lately. Every once in a while I'll get something wild. Of course the Flyway, they're great.
No, and I mean I'm still kind of all stricken over this, because this has, says what did it say? It was a berry wheat ale. It with the blueberry in there, it almost tastes like a mild sour.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, a real tame sour, almost.
Yeah, nothing extreme, but I mean, it's got that good flavor to it. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, I knew you'd like it.
No, I appreciate you driving it all the way up here because I'm sure that was no easy haul.
Well, bringing the beer was the easy part.
Oh, yeah.
It just sat comfortably in the back.
Yeah, it didn't have to drive, did it?
Nah, it did not. I wish it would have. We could have traded spots. I'd have just napped while the beer drove.
Oh, man, wouldn't that have been nice?
I don't think the cops would have liked that, though.
Probably not. Oh, so you have your own podcast, right?
I do, yeah. Same Old Devils.
Same Old Devils podcast. And that's not just a podcast, right? That's also an apparel outfit.
It is.
Because we're both wearing amazing shirts from Same Old Devils Apparel.
Mine's not. Mine's actually from Abandoned Ship.
Oh,
Shout out to Abandoned Ship. They're very great.
There you go. There you go.
Mine,
Well, I'll support you. You don't have to support you.
Thanks. I try not to be that guy too much, you know. Every once in a while, sure, but it's kind of like the band that jams their own record, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You got to play it cool every now and then.
Well, and I was always told if you're in a band and you have T-shirts, you're not allowed to wear your own T-shirt on stage.
Yeah.
I was always told that.
Yeah, that's kind of a faux pas, I think.
Yeah, it's like, look at me, I'm in a band wearing my T-shirt.
Yeah, look how much I love me.
I mean, I love me. I think I'm pretty. So.
Right.
So how did you get your start in podcasting?
Man, it all started with a lot of the things that I do. I knew a guy. I had never met him in real life. I had met him on a website where people ask questions and then other people answer them.
Oh, okay.
So I was into that for a long time just because it was ridiculous and fun. And I met him through there. He was very active on that site. And we hit it off pretty well on there. And then he had started a podcast. And I listened to it a couple times. That's the first time I had ever listened to a podcast as well. I had no idea what a podcast was. This was probably 2011-ish. So fast forward to a couple years later, I was home from work, didn't have a whole lot going on then, and he was like, hey, does anybody want to do a podcast with me? And I was like, sure. So I went out, bought one of those little snowball USB mics.
There you go.
Plugged it in my laptop, and away we went. Had a lot of fun. His was also beer based. He drank a lot of beer on it, so I drank a lot of beer. Got real drunk and had a real good time.
Well, I mean, that's what we're all here to do,
Right.
is to drink beer, have a good time, and hopefully learn something. I mean, so far I've learned something on every episode. So you're going to teach me something today.
Oh, I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will. If nothing else, I can teach you what not to do. I got a lot of those stories.
Well, I mean, I would hope you would tell me the do's and don'ts. That would be absolutely great.
I'm real good at the don'ts.
So what all do you have in your funnel now? I mean, you've got podcasting, you've got tattoos, you've got your full-time job, clothing line, and as we were talking earlier, you're working on a production studio?
Yeah, it's still kind of in the works. I'm trying to build like a Randy land. Just throw all my hobbies into, one big space, and just kind of go from there. Yeah, I want to get involved in some music production. That may be something in the works down the road. A lot, man. I got a lot going on.
Yeah, every time I talk to you, it's always like I'll send you a message and I know I'm not getting a response back for at least a couple days because like I know how busy you are, and it blows my mind. For anybody who doesn't know, Randy had me on his show. What was it, back in September, October?
Yeah, sometime in the fall of last year.
Sometime in the fall last year, and what happened was Randy showed me a new side to podcasting. Aside from what I do with another group, he showed me the interview style podcasting and the having fun with it with people. And there's a clip. I'm probably going to show it right about now. The show. I mean, where do you want to see it go as far as where you're at now compared to, say, 5 years?
A warehouse.
You want to see it in a
baby.
warehouse.
We don't want to do this here anymore.
I got big plans.
You've always had big plans.
I know. I'm a big planner.
I know, but see, I'm the girl that's going to make it happen.
I'm a big
There you go.
dreamer. I'm a big dreamer, not a planner, really.
Yeah.
I got
Which
big
is exactly why
dreams.
he needs me.
It's right.
It is.
Yeah. You come up with the idea, and she's gonna make it happen.
I need my own manager for sure. I need a podcast manager, and I need a personal manager.
And in that clip, I mean, I flipped the script on Randy, and I started asking him about his podcast because I already knew. I was like, I want to do this. I really got into it, and that's what sparked the idea. So, Randy, you're part of my my building blocks here. You're considered my cornerstone. Okay.
Yeah, we all have it.
And like I said, I can't thank you enough for driving all the way up here, bringing me some delicious beer, and of course being on the show, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Anytime I'm able to get away from mine and experience somebody else's, it's another angle on it.
Yeah.
Turns out I like being a guest almost more than being a host.
Yeah.
It's just easier, but it's a lot of fun. So I'm glad I could do it. That was when we were trying to plan it. I was like, oh man, I gotta find a good time for this. But it actually worked out really well. Well,
and since we're talking about the podcast, tell me about what's going on with yours. I mean, y'all are reaching a bunch of episodes right now, right?
We've been doing it since like May of last year, I think.
Okay.
And there was a couple weeks we had to miss just trying to get our learning curve down. We tried a lot of things in the beginning that didn't pan out. But I think we're 30 something episodes in so far.
Oh, wow.
Really stoked on it. Really stoked at how well it's going. Stoked at the engagement that we are getting from other people. And I guess I should basically the podcast is just nonsense. 2 hours of just pure nonsense. I mean, you were there.
I was there, and it was a blast. I mean, he originally brought me on for one topic, and I thought, okay, I've watched his podcast before. I know how this goes, and I mean, we got off into all sorts of different conversations, talking about video games and encounters with the cops. I mean, we talked about tattoos shortly. I mean,
yeah,
it's utter nonsense, but it's such. It's so easy to watch and listen to because of how many tangents we could go off on.
The deeper in the weeds we get, usually the happier I am. It usually makes a more entertaining show.
Well, yeah. I mean, I always tell my guests before they come on, I'm like, don't be afraid to just go AWOL. If you start telling a story about a time you met a chicken crossing the road or something, I mean, go for it. I mean, I'm all for it. I love. I don't want it to be fully scripted,
Yeah.
I want it to be raw, but there's points we're going to hit on. I mean, that's just part of any good show.
Sure, yeah. You got to have a good reference point's always good. Mm-hmm. It's always a good place to come back to.
So what was one of your biggest fears getting into all of this? I mean, getting into tattoos and getting into podcasting and your apparel line. I mean, what are some of your worries?
I don't know that I was that worried going into most of it. I've always kind of had the view. Well, I mean, I've been all over the spectrum of success. I feel like, for the most part, but I've always tried to act in a way where I was always hungry. Mm-hmm. So I don't really have. I go into most things with I don't have anything to lose here mindset.
Yeah. So.
Worst case, I just drop it, figure something else out.
Yep.
And so there's not a whole lot of fear behind, starting something like that. With the podcast, one of the big motivations actually stemmed from starting tattooing. Turns out I'm not that great at communicating with people.
No kidding.
So the podcast was a way to try to get better at that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's working. I feel like it's working. It just causes that engagement, and that's on mine. I know I've had a lot of people ask about like doing a call in on the show or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I try to avoid that as much as I can, just because part of it is that engagement, that interaction. That's what I want. It's what I need. That's part of the reason I started the whole thing. So I try to avoid those, but luckily I have so far.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes in the future.
And don't get me wrong, like I totally want the exact same thing you're talking about. That engagement with somebody. I mean, we could have very well set up your station at your house and set up my station at my house, being, 6-7 hours away, and made this episode come true. But I begged and begged and begged. I didn't have to. Randy's pretty easy to come see me. But he knew what I was talking about when I want that real engagement with somebody. Sitting here across the table from each other, being able to share a drink together. It's so much more comforting and easier to talk to somebody face to face, I feel like, than it is, over a phone.
It makes a real difference. I find, like, especially on the phone or when I'm not actually looking at the person, I tend to, kind of ward off a little bit, kind of fly away a bit there from time to time and come in and out of the conversation. I'm like, oh, no, I wasn't paying attention the last 20 minutes you were talking. What were we talking about?
Well, and I mean, you've got so many different interruptions that can happen. I mean, when you're in an enclosed space like we are now, we don't have things that can distract us. If we're sitting there on the phone or distanced, obviously, you've got your phone out, you probably got a laptop up, you got dogs running around, you got, a girlfriend or a wife that can come in and interrupt, and then your train of thought is lost.
Yeah.
I mean, when you can get somebody, forehead to forehead, you can sit here and question it. It makes it easier to stay tuned, and you're not just waiting for your next turn to speak.
Exactly.
You're actually engaging in what they're saying.
Exactly.
It makes a huge difference for anybody who wants to get into podcasting. I absolutely, you can reach out to myself. I'm sure Randy wouldn't mind if you had some quick questions. He's busy. He may not get back to you right away.
Yeah, give me some time. I'll get back to you when I can. Yeah,
because I mean, he has given me a new love for podcasting. That's the whole reason I'm doing it, is because of this man sitting right here. And I greatly, I'm going to quit bragging on him now. I need to stop.
No, keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Okay,
keep
Randy.
Showering me in praise. I love it.
So Randy, what, I know we've kind of touched on it. Where do you want to go from here? I mean, where do you want to see your apparel company, your tattoo work? I mean, your podcast even. I mean, where do you want to see those things get to?
Man, I think I'll keep grinding on all of it until I'm launching rockets with Elon Musk. Maybe
there you go.
If I can put a car in space, then I'll be like, okay, maybe it's time to take a little break.
Maybe it's time to take a little break.
I got a long way to go to get to that.
So, anybody out there in the Twitter sphere or the YouTube world or Facebook, go ahead and tag Elon Musk. Tell him that he needs to meet Randy Harlan right here, because I promise you, Elon can't compare to this man right here.
I think that guy's he's a little bit quicker and brighter than me.
I don't know,
but I'll try to outwork him. I'll try real hard.
I mean, you saw what happened at the Cybertruck reveal, right?
That is true. Although I don't know that I could do a better job with that.
I mean, he handled that pretty well. I can't knock him for that, because the whole thing was, it was supposed to be a bulletproof glass, and he's like, yeah, throw the ball at the window. Oh, it crashed. Well, that didn't work. I don't know that I would have been mortified. Like, oh.
Yeah. Ooh, that's not so good.
That's not so good. But he did a pretty good job. He contained his composure, because I probably would have been freaking out.
Yeah, I think it would be easy to lose your cool in that situation.
Mm-hmm. I think it'd be super easy to just have a freak out. But he did pretty good. Regardless, Elon Musk, if you want to be on either one of our shows, we will gladly let you on our show.
For sure,
just saying,
Yeah, come hang out. Eli, you can come to my house. You can stay. I got an extra room. You can stay in. It'll be great.
That would be the dream. In episode 1, me and Grant King, he is a big fan of Grant Cardone, and just like myself, and that's one of my goals for this podcast, is to get some bigger names in the industry for sales motivation and I mean sales training. And Grant Cardone, I mean, if I could ever meet you in person and have you on my show, that would be a dream come true. It really would.
Just call him every day.
I thought about it. I thought about writing him an email.
Yeah.
Or hacking his phone or something I could do, you know, like just like mass spam, like, come on.
Yeah, persistence is key. That's the trick.
Well, I mean, that's how I got married. So, I mean,
See?
it took 10 years
That's it.
of wearing her down. And then she was finally like, fine, I'll date you.
Yeah. 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 Step 1, be persistent.
She's going to kill me, guys. Y'all don't understand. So what's your favorite part of it all?
Man.
I mean, what is it like to be Randy? Is it always cloud9 because you are always happy when I see you, man?
No, it's a wild life, man. I got a weird life. I was talking about this just actually the other day. I don't know anyone who has quite the same life I do. I'm sure there are people who do. And I'm not trying to say that in a braggy way. There's definitely I'd like to quit my real job, but I can't do that yet. It keeps food in my belly, which is very important. I learned that a long time ago. You got to keep eating.
Food is important.
But man, I don't know. I really at this point, I kind of need it all. I bitch a lot. I complain a lot. I about just always being too busy. That I'd never have any time for anything. But it's self-inflicted. And it's also for a purpose, you know. I'm trying to get all these things going. I'm having fun with all of them, so why stop doing it? But to pick one out of all of them, I don't know that I could. And it seems like every time I add something, it just makes me complain more and more about, oh, man, well, now I'm not going to have time for this. But at the same time, it quickly becomes something that I'm like, oh, I was missing this. I needed it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It'd be hard to pick a favorite.
Okay. So let's break it down then. What's your favorite part about podcasting?
The interaction, the knowledge that I've gained. Just like you, my guests almost always teach me something. There's something I can pick up there, and it's bettering that communication, getting me more versed in being able to talk to someone, actually caring about what they're saying. My voice is terrible right now. It's driving me crazy. Of course, man, everything was so great up until this morning. I was like, oh, man, this is not so great. I got to go do a podcast, and I sound like this. But, yeah, there's a lot with the podcast. It's helped a lot in – I had a lot of goals with it in the beginning, and it seems to be working. Things seem to be getting where I'd like with it.
Okay, so what are some of your goals in your podcast? What are some of those milestones?
So, really, obviously, at some point, I would hope that it can make me some money, which would be great. I'm always looking for more ways to make money.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love money. The communication, that's a big key one. Also, my podcast, we highlight people from the area for the most part because, like I said, that interaction. It's hard to get someone it's hard to get someone to drive 6 hours to come do your podcast.
I know, right?
So it's mostly people from the Little Rock, Central Arkansas, even a little out way, but most of them have all been in the Arkansas area. And, we try to highlight talents. Most of it's people I know, and we, just showcasing them to the rest of the community, putting a spotlight on people that either haven't had one on them or need one,
Yeah. No, and I get that. And I want to one of the more recent episodes that came out. I saw it on Facebook and it scrolled past the title. It was like a new episode with, I think her name was Samantha, and she schooled you on how much water you don't drink, right?
Yeah. I got a little roasted on that episode. Sam started in. I was complaining again, like I do, about getting old and hurting all the time, which I contribute to a very poor diet. With being busy all the time, and tattooing has turned me into a crippled old man quickly. Yep. And she was also like, yeah, you're probably not drinking enough water either. And we looked it up, and as it turns out, I'm not. And so then my lovely better half she runs the production on my show.
Go ahead and give her a shout out.
Yeah, Anjali. She's very great. She was part of the show the first couple episodes in, and she real quickly decided that wasn't her jam. So she fell off, but she's just recently taken over production.
Well, and I hate that she didn't come with you. I wish I would have gotten to see her again. Wish you were here. It was good to meet you once, but no, I was really hoping y'all would drive up together, and hopefully y'all would get to spend some time here with us, just because I would like to get to know her better. I mean, I've known you for so long, but I totally get the. She's got other things to do right now. She is a busy woman.
She's the backbone to all of my projects. You wonder how I get anything accomplished? That's why. Without her, everything would totally be a way bigger mess than it is. She puts in a lot of the heavy lifting. But yeah, I tried to also talk her into driving me here while I slept, and she was not about it this morning.
She was like, "No, Randy, I'm going to sleep."
No, and yeah, in her sleepy haze, she was like, "Get out of here and leave me alone." So
I really can hear her saying that. I really can. So that's awesome. Anjali, you are missed. We once again, I wish you were here to be on the show as well, because I know you are a huge part of this. Same Old Devils podcast, the production side, the editing side. I mean, I do all that myself, so I completely 100% understand what you go through.
Yeah, she's the heart and soul. Without her, nothing would get accomplished.
Well, and at the same time, I'm sure she keeps your butt in line. So
yeah, she does the best she can, for sure.
I mean, I still know you as Uncle Cheesy, and I'm not going to explain that at all. But no, that's
good old days.
The good old days. I mean, that's how long have we known each other? I think we broke this down in the last episode or last podcast I did at your house.
Oh man, it's been a while.
I mean, I really want to say it's been like 15 years.
I think that seems about right. I think I had just graduated high school with the first time I met you. Mm-hmm. So that would be 15 years. Yeah.
Yep, that I knew it was something like that. Yeah, because you weren't in high school anymore, but we've known each other a long time, and just the transformation of artwork, honestly, on you is extravagant.
Right.
And I don't know if you know this, you're one of the reasons why I started getting tattoos. I mean, I always wanted them. Yeah. But you introduced me into the old school traditional tattoos.
Yeah.
I want to say some of your first one was your sparrows that you got on your wrist.
Yeah, I think that was my second tattoos.
And those, I loved the way they looked, and we became friends. We started talking about them, and you started getting more and more and more and more, and I was like, I've got to have a sleeve like that. and I mean, I do. Like, you showed me more than what I had planned for tattoos. So
yeah, well, they kind of do that on their own. Once you get one, you're like, oh man, if one is cool, 2 is double cool.
Oh yeah.
So if 2 is cool, 4 is way cooler. Let's just keep this ball rolling.
So have you ever, like, and I'm sure you can take an account, because what percentage of your body is tattooed?
A lot, man. I would estimate somewhere between 70 to 80%.
Wow, gosh,
at least.
That is an insane number. I mean, I want to be that tattooed. I really wish I could pull it off, but with my job, it doesn't work.
Yeah. There's ways you can make stuff happen, you know? Mm-hmm. That was one of my, really, that's how I got my foot in the door with tattooing. Yep. I'm not an artist, right? It's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And I have to constantly be working at it. I'm better than I was when I started, which is what I say about everything. Thankfully, so far it's been working out for.
So Randy, are you telling me with hard work you can do anything?
Pretty much, yeah. I am proof of that. There was a good point in time there before I started offshore where, man, I was just eating rice and beans. Mm-hmm. And just living in Conway trying to make it by. But yeah, a little bit of hard work, a little bit of elbow grease, you can make anything happen.
Yeah. Okay, so let's I want to go into tattoos now, but we did not finish on Same Old Devils. Tell me about the apparel line.
Oh, yeah.
Because I mean, I'm starting this this awesome shirt. You can't love no ghost. I mean, there's a story behind each shirt. I swear, because I know you, so I'm like, yeah, there's something behind that. What the one I'm wearing right now? Tell me what it means.
So part of my real gig, like I was talking about, is that offshore life. Man, it's been a relationship ruiner at times, you know?
Yeah. No, been there, done that.
There
I've
was
seen it.
a stretch for a while where I was gone like 3 months. I had to go over to Korea, Singapore, Thailand, bouncing around. I mean, you can't be in a relationship if you're not around.
No, 100%. I mean, I agree with that full fold. You know, I spent my time in the oil field where I'd be gone months at a time. Not to the extent that I wasn't stateside. I never left the country.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine going to a different country and being there for 3, 6, 8 months, whatever.
Yeah.
Because I know you've done that. So
It also, when you're over there, you're on a completely opposite schedule. It's hard to get time zones to match up, and where you can even just make a phone call and talk for a couple minutes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough. So there's that aspect of it. If you know, on the relationship side, can't love no ghost, man. But I also use it as a reminder as well that like to not be chasing after stuff that is dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's kind of multi-layered there. But yeah, the actually Same Old Devils all started with the apparel line,
Mm-hmm.
which branched off of the tattooing, with me learning art basically and trying to get better at it.
Yeah.
I was drawing these, designs, and for a while I fell into this basically just compulsory collective of buying all these screen printed shirts
Mm-hmm.
from companies like Abandoned Ship,
There
like
you
this
go.
lovely one I'm wearing here. And they had really rad designs, and I drew a lot of inspiration from them and a couple others. And so I was like, hey, why can't I just make shirts too? I got all these designs I'm doing nothing with anyway. Got all these weird art designs. Let me just start doing that. So I did that. And then when I decided to do a podcast, I was like, what am I going to call this? And then so, I mean, why not just extend what I'm already doing? So that's kind of how that all played out. It was kind of strange.
Yeah, well, and I was always curious how it started. What started first? So you started the apparel line first, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And off of the apparel line, you got into your apprenticeship with tattoos.
Well, actually, the apprenticeship started.
Oh, okay.
And
the apprenticeship started first.
Yeah, while I was
Okay.
learning to art, the apparel line kind of fell into my lap. I just put 2 and 2 together. Like, I'm drawing these designs of stuff that I would like to wear on a shirt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm buying all these shirts from somebody else. Why don't I get a piece of this action?
Exactly. I mean, you've taken your skills and knowledge, and artisticness, and put them to use to make you more money, right?
Yeah.
So you're taking your skills like any good salesman should do, and putting them to good use to make the money.
Yeah,
I love it. That's
absolutely.
awesome. That's what we're supposed to do. So you started drawing up these designs.
Mm-hmm.
You started buying the. So do you have like your own screen printer, or do you outsource that?
I outsource right now.
Okay.
Part of that big hobby kit of a building that I've been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That a screen printing area is part of the works of that, but we'll see how all that plays out.
Fair enough.
But yeah, right now it's all outsourced to a local company in Little Rock called Electric Ghost.
Electric Ghost.
They are really rad people.
That like good to do business with.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and just cool people in general, you know.
Yeah. Well, that works. I mean, because I'm wearing one of your shirts and I'm drinking an amazing beer you brought me out of one of your koozies. So
Yeah.
and they look great. That's really cool. So did you hand draw all the artwork?
Yep. Every bit of it.
Every bit of it. So do you have any more? Because I know I've seen this one a lot. This is kind of your logo, right?
Yeah,
This is the Same Old Devil.
Yeah, we use that goat head as kind of the logo. What better way to represent something called Same Old Devils, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in the satanic profession, I mean, definitely a goat head is kind of a well-known symbol for the devil.
Yeah.
Which, if anybody who's had goats knows, they are little devils. So,
They are. They're terrible. Don't let them climb on your car. They'll bust up your windshield.
I was going to say, you've had goats before, haven't you?
I haven't had any, but I've known people who have.
See, and what is it? We went out to your family's farm or little patch of land in Drasco, and you had animals there. What are they, chickens?
Chickens, lots of chickens. I say lots. Probably, I mean, it's a little hen house my folks have, just for the eggs. And then, my dad's got coon dogs and that whole lot. Yeah, back in the backwoods.
For anybody who doesn't know, Randy wasn't always this amazing of a man. He used to be what I used to be as well, was a huge redneck.
Yeah.
He had a jacked up truck. He wore traditional cowboy boots.
Hey.
I mean, they're those are pretty.
You got to keep it going, man.
You got to keep it going. He's still wearing the boots.
Never forget where you came from.
I remember with the boots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no. I love just bringing up old memories. That's so much fun.
Those were good times, man.
We did. We had a lot of good times, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Growing up in that area, you have to figure out ways to have fun that are a little more non-traditional.
Yeah, because in good old HS Arkansas, it ain't a whole lot to do.
There's not, man.
But get into trouble.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. So, it was probably January, close to the first of the year, January, and we got this big ice storm after partying all night. And it was one of those, I didn't tell my parents where I was at. I didn't tell nobody where I was at. The next day, we come in, we crashed at your house, and woke up at 2 a.m, and everything is covered in ice. No car is getting out. No truck is getting out. It is just one big sheet of ice. And I just remember you walking outside going, dang! And then going to the freezer and getting a bottle of Evan Williams out of and we just started drinking again.
I mean, what else are you going to do?
At that time, I mean, it was great. There was 4 or 5 of us.
Yeah.
Having a blast, partying for the ice storm we just got.
Yeah. Yeah. That's part of it, you know?
It's nothing else better. I mean,
if you can't leave, might as well do something.
Might as well drink.
Yeah.
So what keeps you going? What keeps you on your grind, man?
Being hungry.
Being hungry. So how do you stay hungry?
You remember when you were super hungry and you had no food. Mm-hmm. That's burned into my brain, man. I can't. I won't forget when I had way too much time on my hands, and all I had to eat was a bag of rice and a bag of beans for 2 weeks. You know, that right there is enough for me. I don't ever want to be in that situation again. So
fair enough.
Keep the grind alive.
Well, and I mean, I love hearing those stories, and I hate to spring this on you. I have a segment. It's called Bottom of the Bottom.
Yeah.
Tell me about your lowest point and how you crawled out of it.
Oh, man. Yeah, my lowest, I had gotten laid off. I was working at Defiance.
Yep, remember that.
Got laid off, so I had no job. Had unemployment for a little while. My car got repoed. Couldn't afford to make those payments anymore, so that was gone. Now I have no vehicle. Was
that the convertible?
No. I sold that to buy my motorcycle and then totaled that motorcycle.
Oh, okay.
That's a whole nother story. So my car got repoed. That was the TC.
Oh, okay. Okay, I remember that one.
Yeah. I I'd actually just tore the clutch out of it, driving it like an idiot. Which my license was also suspended at this time.
Because of?
Driving like an idiot.
Yep.
Tore the clutch out of that, got it fixed, so $1,200 gone. And then just after that, it got repoed.
Oh, man.
I was like, man, I should have just not fixed it.
Let them come get it with no clutch.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I was sitting at home, nothing going on, no job, no way to go find a job, no license, even if I had a vehicle, nothing, basically. Scraping up quarters to walk down to Kroger to buy a bag of rice and a bag of beans, man. It got rough. It got dark. And I got out of it just because I knew a guy. That's all my stories are. I knew a guy.
Okay, so let's hear about this guy. What did he do for you?
Oh man, my best friend ever. He got me the job offshore. He had worked offshore a couple years prior, got laid off, and then he had just started back with a new company. And he was going down to do some training. So he was going down to Lafayette. He was like, "Hey, you don't have anything going on." He's like, "Why don't you just ride down there with me?" I was like, "Okay, why not?" So I rode down there with him, hung out in Lafayette, and then in between his training classes, we ran by the main office there. I walked in and I was like, "Hey, I need a job too." And they were like, "Have you ever done this before? Have you ever worked in the oil field?" I was like, "Yeah." And I had not. And then they were like, "Do you have a license where you can drive down here every couple weeks?" I was like, "Yeah," which I did not. And they were like, "Okay, we'll give you a call." A month later, they were like, "Hey, why don't you come on to work?" Actually, funny story. The first time I had to go to work, I was living in Conway, in Arkansas. I had to be in Lafayette to get on a bus that the company charters out to take us down to the dock to go offshore for the first time ever.
Yeah.
They had given me all my equipment, my coveralls, my hard hat, my boots, all that, about 40 pounds worth of shit.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot.
I had no vehicle, no license, nothing, of course, still in that stage. So really no way to get down there. So I scraped up every last dime I had, sold off all the rest of the music equipment that I owned, that I actually liked, to buy a bus ticket to go down to Lafayette. Took 2 days to get there by bus. I had to sleep outside. We were in Texarkana, the first stop, and their bus terminal was closed. So I had to sleep outside of their bus terminal till the next morning to get on the bus to get back down there.
Wow.
Then the bus terminal in Lafayette was about 8 miles from where I needed to be. I couldn't get a taxi or anything. So with my 40-pound bag, I walked 8 miles and then waited till later that night to get on the bus to go to work the first time.
Wow.
That's what keeps me going. That shit right there.
Because you never want to be in that position again.
Never.
So is there anything you wouldn't do to stay hungry like that? I mean, like to keep your grind. I mean, obviously we know your job is a little bit different. You're not a commissioned salesperson like most of us, but
right.
I mean, in that aspect, say you are car salesman and you're thinking about being that hungry. I mean, is there anything you wouldn't do to make money?
No. That's why I have so many things going on. And really the tattoos is self-promoting. It's a salesman job.
Mm-hmm. It's self-marketing at its finest.
It is, man. And now everything else I've got going on is the same. Everything except the paycheck that does feed me. Everything that I'm trying to get going is all selling myself.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think we're all salesmen in a way from that. I mean, all of us, all day, every day, we're trying to sell ourselves. We're trying to sell what we're doing, just trying to get people to buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if it's just a person in the mirror you're trying to sell it to.
Yeah, exactly. And no, whoa, that's a great point. And I really like that because I don't know how many times I've had to put myself in front of the mirror and be like, look, you've got to do this.
Yeah.
You've either got to get over what you're doing or get better at what you're doing. I mean, there's too much at stake for me to let a bad day go wrong, whether it's I've had a terrible day at work and I'm just ready to throw in the towel and go do something different. Knowing that there's probably not a whole lot out there that I could just jump in and make decent money at and survive at. I've got to kick myself in the ass and be like, hey, get your head on straight. get out there and go do your job.
Self-motivating is real important.
Absolutely. Self-motivation. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because I've always felt like I was a decent self-motivator. And I always wanted to try and help motivate other people. So with this podcast, I hope you feel motivated. If you don't feel motivated by that story, man, sleeping at bus stops and eating rice and beans only, to get a job that is now paid him quite a bit of money and let him have the freedom to do what he wants to do. I mean, that's an impressive story in my book.
It's the American dream, man.
It is the American dream. I love that. Get rich or die trying. And I said this on your podcast. It's easier to die trying than it is to get rich. But
It's so much easier.
I mean, if you're not trying, then you're just sitting around crying about not being able to do anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got to learn to get off your ass and do it.
Nobody likes a crybaby.
Nobody likes crybaby, and you don't put baby in the corner.
That's right. Yeah, that's the trick, man. That's the goal. That's how you stay driven. You do those things. You walk 8 miles with a 40-pound bag. You sleep outside of a bus station. You decide you don't ever want to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the reasons why I love this segment, and I don't do it every episode, and I probably should, is it gives people a more real sense of the struggles of others. Like you sleeping at a bus stop. I knew another guy, Grant, who had episode 1. He was his bottom of the bottom was he had the 2 numbers he believed in, and I believe it was 82 and 6, and I mean his numbers made sense to him, and I can't remember them right now. I really wish I could, but it was like the amount of money he had and the 2 boxes he had or something, and it was a big deal. He only had $86 in his pocket, and he only had 2 boxes of clothes. That was his stuff. That was all he had in the world.
Yeah.
And now he is the general manager of a camping dealership here in Columbia, Missouri, doing great for himself. I mean, he's driving beautiful cars. I mean, and it's all because he stayed motivated and stayed driven to never be in this position again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge to me.
There's a lot of factors I think that really can go into something like that. There's a lot of things that can help make or break you, and I think you figure those out along the way. But that's the really the biggest trick, the biggest hurdle is to stay self-motivated. I think you gotta along the salesman line, you have to be able to buy whatever you're selling first of all. If you can buy it, then they can buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta get that in your head. You gotta motivate yourself to want to do it.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's one of the biggest problems with me is because, and you can ask my wife this. When I was in car sales, we would either trade for a really nice used vehicle or a new vehicle would show up on the lot, and I'd want to drive it home and be like, babe, can we have it? Can we have it, please?
Right.
Because I wanted to trade my truck in every day and get a new one just because I liked this color better, or this one has fancy wheels on it. It didn't matter. It was because I was in that field and I was so sold on myself with this company, with my product, that I wanted it all.
Yeah.
And I promise you, I will have a truck and a Jeep and a really fast Charger one day. Like, it's going to happen. I mean, just because I'm already that sold on my products.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it takes.
Yeah.
If you like it and you love it that much, if it really does you good, and you believe in it, then it's easier to show someone that they should too.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, 100%. And we all know that. I mean, if you know your product, which is a big thing, product knowledge, and you know how to sell your product, getting the feature function benefits, and that goes with any products. It can be furniture, it can be bikes, it can be, remote control race cars. I met a guy who owned a RC shop, is what I call it. Little remote control cars, drones, airplanes. And he was sitting there selling me. I wanted to get into it at that point because he loves what he does.
Right.
And I was like, that's amazing.
You can tell somebody's passion just from talking to him about the subject.
Mm-hmm.
And I think another thing too, I know as a consumer, I can always tell when a salesman's just fake.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing to me that's sadder, and there's nothing that makes me more just want to walk away from buying something, even something that I know I already want, than someone who's just real limp about what they're trying to sell me. You know what I mean? And just fake. Just that's the best way I can describe it.
No, and I know exactly what you're talking about because I've seen that happen almost on, I can't say a daily basis because I've met and been in so many different situations and seen so many different salesmen fail because they cannot get passionate, they cannot get enthusiastic, they cannot get the scope of what they're actually trying to do down.
Yeah.
And that is, you have to be able to explain a product in a way that you were trying to almost make love to it, you know?
Yeah.
And that was always me. I always wanted to know every question. I didn't want a customer to come on the lawn and to be able to stump me. I want them to be able to ask any question they can, and I'm going to answer it for them with enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Because I do know the answer. And if you don't know the answer, there is a real quick, easy word track to get out of that. It is, I understand that you want to know that feature. I don't know it, but I will absolutely make sure I get you that answer before you leave today.
Yep.
And it's great. It's such a good word track because it lets you move on from it, but you absolutely have to get back to it.
Well, that's anything, you know. I don't know it, but I'll find out. That's so much better than just trying to come up with a story. People can smell lies, man. They know when you're fake. I think it's implanted in there somewhere that we can tell. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You can tell from somebody's body language, by the way that they are saying the words. Even there's just so much that goes into communication. There's so much that you pick up on, you don't realize it. And there's so much that they will pick up on.
Oh, yeah.
And so you just tell someone, hey, I'm not sure, but I'll find out.
Yeah. And this goes down to a fundamental in life, not even in sales. Don't lie. There's no need to lie. And I've had customers ask me questions they knew the answer to.
Yeah.
They wanted to see if I knew. They were checking my competency if I could sell them something. And, you know, they'd be like, so, what's the horsepower on that truck out there? And I'd be like, oh, well, that's, 2019 Ram 1500. It's got the 5.7 liter Hemi. This one in particular, I believe, has the 392 gear ratio, so it's got 385 horsepower. And their jaw drops and they go, okay, well, show me the inside.
Yeah.
Flood the market with information. That's how you do anything well, I believe. So I did. I gave him way too much information, answered his question, and now he trusts me.
Yeah.
And guess what? I sold him a truck.
Nice.
So, if you can do that, I believe full fold, be trustworthy, don't lie, know your product, and it'll help you hugely to sell more.
Even if as long as you keep that basis too, even if you're weak in some of those areas, I have a hard time with the tattooing because I don't think my art is where it should be, or it's not where I want it. I mean, that's the artist's curse, right? Your art's never finished.
It's never good enough, yeah.
So trying to sell someone a tattoo, they're like, hey, how good are you at doing this? Maybe I've done that before. I'm like, I don't know, man. I mean, it's all right. You look at it, you decide. You know what I mean?
I'm going to put this on my body for the rest of my life, and you're like, it's all right.
Right? But there's other areas in that maybe I'm not quite confident in that you're going to like what I do, but I can give you reasons on why you should look at the placement a little different or why we should do it this way. And I'll go into explaining things like that, and then if it's something that I just don't think I can do, I'll tell you, hey, that's a little bit above my skill level, man. Well, here's someone who can, someone else that I work with that's going to be great at this.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, you just don't lie about stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. Do you mind if because I don't think they'll mind, but I want to make sure. Can I shout out to the shop?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure they would. I'm sure they'd love that.
I would hope so. Lucky Bella Tattoo in Maumelle, Arkansas is by far, in my opinion, the best shop in Arkansas. I tell everybody that. They have award-winning tattoo artists.
Yeah.
I have several tattoos from there. Not all of mine are from there, and I regret that, honestly. Brooke, Ryan, Howard, Randy himself here are all amazing tattoo artists. Is there anybody else I'm forgetting?
Sherry works there too.
Okay.
She's fantastic as well.
I haven't met Sherry, but if she's working with those guys, I know she's got to be an expert, and she's gonna help you out. So if you're in the Arkansas area or looking for the best tattoo artists out there, definitely give them a look up. That's Lucky Bella Tattoos, okay? And like I said, I've been around that shop, been in that shop. Howard is by far my main man. He has hooked me up with 90% of this sleeve. If he was tattooing at the time, he would have been the one doing it. But I also have work from Brooke. Brooke did a back piece of mine a couple years back, and it still looks beautiful. It's black and white. It's two pistols crossing. Love it.
All
Guys,
four of them. They're such fantastic artists, man.
Well, and they're fantastic people.
They are. They really are. I can't brag about them enough. I'm real lucky to get to work with them. And they're the only reason that any of my art and any of my tattooing is, I mean, they taught me everything that I know about tattooing. They're the reason that I've made it to where I have in that field, for sure.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I just wish everybody would at least give them a shot. They may not be the cheapest. It may take you a little while to get in there, but if that tells you anything, it is because they have lifetimes of experience in what they're doing.
Yeah, most definitely.
You were not going to be disappointed with the quality of your tattoo that is going to be on your body for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Brooke and Ryan, I think they're like somewhere between 15 and 20 years doing it. They've been doing it a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Sherry and Howard, I think they're going up on 10 years or something like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of experience in that studio. I'm definitely the freshest one, and I'm in and out, but I'm around.
Yeah. No, and Randy may have self-confidence issues in himself.
Art's hard, man. Art's hard.
Art is hard. I could not personally do it, but I've seen this man grow as a professional tattoo artist, and he is a professional because I have seen some of his work that he has put on people, and it looks good. His lines are nice. He's got good coloration in there, and I mean, if you are looking for somebody who is going to work with you, this shop, including Randy himself, is going to work with you to get you the tattoo you want. And it may not be in the same spot you want it, but they're going to tell you why. Maybe it needs to be in this different spot. It's a funky shape or something kind of like we were talking about just a minute ago. Yeah,
there's a lot that goes into it that people don't realize with tattooing especially. And I mean, any field's like that. Until you're actually part of it, you don't think about things. So definitely there's ways that things need to be designed sometimes, way things need to flow to look best, to look optimal. And we're not gonna tell you no, but we're gonna tell you why your idea needs to be tweaked a little this way or tweaked a little this other way, to give you something that you are going to enjoy for the rest of your life. And a year or two down the road, you're not gonna be like, well, this was a terrible idea.
Well, I mean, you'd hope it wouldn't be a terrible idea. I've made some terrible mistakes, but some of my tattoos aren't them. Absolutely not. I love all of my tattoos, and I've got some that are imperfect, but I mean, I don't know.
Tattoos are one of those things, though. I mean, you're talking something that is hand
crafted.
Yeah, crafted. It's not quite the word I was thinking, but that does work. Something that, I mean, it's done by a person, by a real life person, not a machine. It's
genuine.
Yeah. Needles, ink. I mean, we're talking, and putting it in a layer that's millimeters difference makes it, hit or miss. So there's lots that goes into it. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but
well, and
it's hard. It's hard. That's what I'm trying to say.
What you're going to. There is an art to making that art, because it is more than just being an artist and being able to draw. You're talking about somebody's body, so you have to, check their pain sensors, even if they won't tell you what they are. You've got to make sure that the needle doesn't go too deep or too light, or it'll fade out or bleed out. There's so much more than to just drawing on a piece of paper. You're drawing on a person. I mean, and let alone, I don't have the artistic gene with my hands for drawing or painting or anything like that. I mean, I've always been into music. I'm really good with video, audio, and photography. I feel like I was always good at photography. So I have artistic talents that I don't compare with Randy.
Skills. There's skills. There's all of it's skills.
It's all skill.
It's something that you can get better at. I'm a great example of that. If you saw my art from 2 years ago, even, you'd be like, gross. You did that? You drew that? Yeah. So, I mean, and it's like anything else. That's another reason why I have my fingers in so many pies. Mm-hmm. I want to do new stuff. I want to get better at other things, Yeah. The only way to get better at something is to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you don't know till you try. And there's no reason to be negative about it until you fail at it. And even a failure, you can't give up on the first try.
Oh man, failures are just what teaches you to do
how to do it better.
Yeah.
And to work your process better, or to be a different form of person when you're doing something.
I can attribute all of, or most of, if not all of, my success to all my failures. Because those were the lessons that I learned that stuck. Yeah. Nothing really, prods you like a good failure. Mm-hmm. Nothing really kicks you and gets you motivated like failing.
Well, and with any failure, I don't consider it a failure unless you didn't learn anything from it.
Right.
And that's it. It's not a failure if you learn something from it, because then it becomes a lesson.
Exactly.
I learned that when I say this to a customer, they get real mad and they leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Next time I'll word that differently.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I've always thought that, there are no true failures unless you just leave it at, oh, well, I suck and I'm done. Or, if you're just going to get over it at that point, I mean, you've got your own issues to work out. It may not be the job. It may be you. You can't blame everything on your surroundings. You have to take accountability for that at some point.
Absolutely.
Because I really feel like I can do anything I put my mind to. Maybe not tattooing, but I just don't have that artistic. I could sharpen my skills like Randy tells me.
I'm telling you, you can't. I mean, and I'm not saying you should drop what you're doing right now and start tattooing. But I'm just saying, like anything else, it's a skill. Mm-hmm. And just like anything else in this world, I mean, you can do literally anything. There's nothing that you cannot accomplish with just a little bit of elbow grease and some motivation, man. I tell everyone, if there's one thing that I've really learned about myself, is that I may be beating my head against that brick wall, but I'm gonna get through it at some point.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Tiny steps, baby steps. We talk about that a lot in our dealership now. Is we'll get the objection from a customer saying why they're not going to buy today, but we just baby step them a little bit further and a little bit further, and the next thing they know, they're pulling out of the lot, having bought something. And it's because it's a mental game. When you start talking to somebody, their first defenses are up. They're like, nope, not buying. We just want to go see something.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, no big deal. Let's go look at something. Okay, so we're going to go look at this new car or this new bike, the new mattress, whatever it is. We're just looking today, guys. We're just looking. Absolutely. Let's go look at something you want to look at, And you just take a step further. Okay, so here it is. We're looking at it. Okay, you fall in love. Okay, great. Let's go inside. I'm going to get you a price on it. Boom. Next step. Get you a price. Boom. Next step. You just baby step it forward, and it makes a big difference. I mean, if you're immediately walking in somebody being like, hey, you're going to buy today? Yeah, they're going to be like, no.
Yeah.
I mean, you've just got to learn to do those smaller steps and to hold your customer by the hand to get them to the point where you want them, which is a sold customer.
Someone who runs up and says, give me your money is not a salesman. That's a thief.
That's a thief. I love that analogy. Yeah, that is amazing because that is true. And sadly, people get stolen from every day.
Sure, yeah.
They don't get the quality in a salesperson they need. They don't get the knowledge that they needed to make a good purchase. And by all means, don't get me wrong, salesmen out there, make your money. If you get an easy lay down customer, just be prepared for that customer to be unhappy in the future at you, because that's going to be your fault. You got an easy lay down customer and you skip steps and you didn't do your job accurately enough. They're going to be upset at some point in the future.
I mean, you got to take care of people, especially if you're selling them something, And this, just to harken back on everything, you got to believe in it. It's got to be something that
100%.
I mean, I think today, I think that the salesman in general is not as prevalent as they once were.
No, I agree.
Most people already have an idea of what they're going to get before they even have a chance to talk to somebody who's going to sell them something.
Yeah.
The communication we have now with the internet and everything being out, it's just so easy to be able to do your own homework.
Mm-hmm.
But that shouldn't give any kind of person that's trying to sell something an easy out.
No.
You know what I mean? There's still a lot of legwork that needs to be done there. They did their homework, but maybe they didn't do it. You don't know what they know.
Yeah, exactly. Coming in off the street, one of the questions we do ask, is there anything online that you have looked at? And that's going to tell us a couple things. Have you been shopping online? What models have you looked at online? Are you looking for, a sports car? Are you looking for a minivan? Are you looking for a camper? Are you looking for a certain style of couch? Whatever it is you sell. If they've done homework online, they know what they're looking for, and they came to your dealership for a reason.
Yeah.
Because you have something they want. Now, go show it to them. Be very, enthusiastic about it, and make sure you know that product to be able to explain it to them. Because if you go out there and just be like, yep, here it is, guys. Is this the one you want? I wouldn't buy from you. Randy, we've got just a few minutes left. Mm-hmm. I want to hear your best motivational speech. Give the listeners, give the viewers something to get pumped up about.
Well, there's a couple things I think that really that can really make or break someone, and really help streamline success. One thing is, like we were talking about earlier, to stay hungry. I think that is one of the most important things. Also adaptability. Being able to shift your focus, being able to think on your heels, being able to be useful. Another reason that I'm trying to acquire all these skills. I got all my fingers in these pies. I'm staying so busy. I'm just more useful that way, not only for and to myself, but to other people. Things like that, they go a long way. And that's the kind of things that you need to drive you to success, I think.
No, I mean, that's good. I really like it because, I mean, if you can't stay hungry and you get satisfied, and I don't mean like you're happy. I mean like you're okay with just making X amount of dollars a month, and you don't have that strive to do better, to do more. I mean, you've got to stay hungry. You have to stay on your grind, and you've got to just keep pressing forward.
Not even that. I mean that, but not as well. You just get stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you've reached the top of your ladder, if you're just staying there, what good are you?
No.
You've got that one skill. You've attained that, but now what?
Yeah.
Are you gonna spin in your wheels? You're just stuck in the mud.
Stuck in the mud, and you can't stay there. I mean, you've got to learn how to get out of the mud. You've got to learn how to keep pressing forward.
Yeah, back to those old HS days, man. You're stuck in the mud. You're never gonna make it home.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right. So, Randy, we're gonna wrap this up. I want you to tell me, or not tell me, because I already know. Tell the listeners, tell the viewers where they can find your Same Old Devils apparel, your podcast, where they can learn more about your tattoo skills, because you do have skills, son.
that's right, skills.
Just drop it for them. I'm gonna make sure some links are in the bio as well. So if you'll go down to the comment section, they'll all be there. And Randy, take it away, son.
Yeah, everything's at sameolddevils.com. You can find we've got all the apparel. We've got some pins up there. Actually, we have a sale going on. We're trying to clear out a lot of merchandise, make room for some new stuff.
There you go.
So pick you something up while it's on sale. It's no better time to get something.
And stay tuned for new stuff.
Yeah, definitely. We have new stuff in the works. Some stuff that I'm even more stoked about. It's definitely not for everyone, just so everyone's aware. Some of it's a little bit racy, but my brain's a little funky. So if you're watching it, you can probably tell this freak show sitting here. But we also have everywhere you can catch the podcast, man. We do a YouTube. It's a video podcast, so you can watch us on YouTube, and then you can stream or download it anywhere that you can get, any podcast, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. I think we're on Stitcher, Deezer. We're on I think there's 100-something streaming services we're on. It's ridiculous.
There are a bunch.
My host is great. I really like our podcast host. But yeah, check all that out. And then, if you guys are in the Central Arkansas area, Lucky Bella Tattoos, man. Even if you're not getting tattooed by me, look at the other artists there. Howard, Sherry, Brooke, Ryan, fantastic artists. They're all really great, really, really good artists. And yeah, we'd definitely be stoked to do some tattoos for some people.
Mm-hmm. So, obviously they know they can find you on Facebook.
That's right.
Instagram. Yeah. Do y'all have a Twitter?
We do have a Twitter. I think that's what we're least active on.
Same here.
Anjali stays pretty active on her Twitter. She does most of our social media posting. So if you're seeing something, it's definitely more than likely her. Same Old Devils, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And then you can find some of my artwork and just some of my ridiculousness. Just Randy Harlan. I'm most active probably on Instagram.
Yep.
That's my favorite. You see my pups. I got some sweet old pups on there.
Yeah, you do.
Make a lot of food. I got some food on there. Man, I ate some nachos the other night.
Oh, yeah?
Banging
nachos, bro?
Yeah. Nacho Bel Grande who?
There you go. Well, and I know Randy for the most part right now, and I skimmed your Instagram and your Facebook as well before the show. He is mostly covered up right now, but he has some posts on Instagram and Facebook of his tattoos. And what percentage would you say your tattoos were done at Lucky Bella?
Oh, most of them. Probably at least 95%.
I was going to say 90% because that's what I can remember. But if you need a better canvas for Lucky Bella tattoos, Randy Harlan, I swear, is their spokesperson. I can't say that as much. I've probably got 40%, but I still love everybody at that shop. So big shout out to Lucky Bella. I want to give one last shout out to Flyway. Or Flyway. Oh, drinking too many. Flyway for their Bluewing berry wheat ale.
So good.
I can't say that quick enough. I'm probably gonna have to fight you for the last one. I'm not
you can have it. You can have it. I got a long drive ahead of me.
Oh yeah, you gotta drive back tonight. Oh, that stinks for
So
you.
much. That's the problem with being so busy, man.
Yep. No, I get it. Randy, thank you so much again for being on this show.
No, thanks for having me. Anytime I get to see you, it's a good time.
I know, right? We've always had a good time together, cops involved or whatever. I mean, whatever. Guys, be sure to follow us on YouTube. We're on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Facebook. I'm working on an Instagram, and we are on Twitter. Guys, if y'all have any questions about the show or want more information on where to find us, be sure and email me at salesmanguidebb@gmail.com. Guys, y'all please drive safely, drink responsibly, and have a great night. Thank you.
Later.
Helping the customer buy, helping him to know the product, helping him see sales features that he, in turn, can use to sell them. That's part of selling. How well could you do?